This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening, I'm Emily Brass. Thanks for joining us tonight. The name Miriam Bergen may not be familiar to many Winnipeggers, but that's about to change. She died in January and left behind one of the biggest gifts this city and this country have ever seen. CBC's Bartley Kivas reports.
$500 million.
The Winnipeg Foundation just received the largest charitable donation ever made by a person in Canada. The late Miriam Bergen has bequeathed a gift that includes all the shares in Appleton Holdings. Founded by her parents, Ruth and Martin Bergen, Appleton owns 27 residential and commercial properties in Winnipeg, including this seniors home in North Kildonan, this apartment building in St. Vital, and these lofts in downtown Winnipeg, all soon to belong to Canada's oldest community foundation.
I always knew that her and her parents gave back to the community in many different ways, but I myself had no idea just how large of an impact they could make in Winnipeg.
It'll take time to determine precisely how much of an impact as the Winnipeg Foundation works out the details of absorbing $500 million.
This comes at a time when often we feel that, maybe there's not much love in the world, but I have to tell you, there is a lot of love in this world.
Once the legalities and logistics are figured out, this donation comes with no strings attached.
It shows a real confidence in the Community Foundation to assess, well, what are the needs of the community.
The Winnipeg Foundation has been around since 1921. It's the second oldest community foundation in North America, after one in Cleveland. Miriam Bergen's gift will eventually allow the Winnipeg Foundation to spend millions more every year on grants. Bartley Kivas, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Parties, family gatherings, holiday concerts. This year, those events are happening as the Winnipeg Children's Hospital sees unprecedented numbers of young patients sick with respiratory viruses. CBC's Alana Cole has more on how to celebrate the season without spreading germs.
Here you go.
Sincerely, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Kyle Mason is getting ready. This year, the North End Community Christmas Party is back on. It hasn't happened since COVID hit.
After a couple of years of doing a toy drive and handing out food gift cards, we're really looking forward to being able to host people again at the actual event. And so it's always been a fantastic event in the years past, and we're expecting it to be similar again this year.
This holiday season, there aren't any restrictions to slow the spread of COVID-19, but there is concern about respiratory viruses, including the flu. The Children's Hospital Emergency Department continues to see what they're calling unprecedented numbers of sick kids. This month, they saw 181 cases of influenza. That's 4.5 times what they saw in November of 2019. Yesterday alone, close to half of the 174 kids coming in had influenza symptoms.
So if you look at my hand here, the curve for influenza is like this. Okay, so it's going up very, very, very straight. In previous years, it's more like this, and we're anticipating that we're going to hit a higher peak and we're going to have a slow runoff. So our season is going to last longer. It's going to peak higher. And it's peaking, and we're getting there fast.
But Dr. Elizabeth Doyle is not calling for school concerts and events to be canceled. She is urging people to get the flu shot, stay home when sick, sanitize, and wear a mask when it's inside and it's crowded.
If people use the public health measures widely, I'm not as worried about the impact. I think that if people use them wisely, I think we'll manage. If people don't use them or are unwise in using them, then I think we'll run into trouble.
Kyle Mason says they're taking precautions, including looking at how to cohort so not everyone is together at once, and requiring masks when people aren't eating.
We just want to be as healthy and as safe as possible. We don't want to cause any harm.
He says it's a simple way to look after each other. Alana Cole, CBC News, Winnipeg.
A nonprofit seniors housing complex could be sold to a firm from Alberta as soon as January. Residents of Lyons Place are asking for a 5-year moratorium on rent increases before the high-rise on Portage Avenue can be sold. They want tougher laws to make it harder to sell nonprofit homes, similar to the rules in Quebec. Tom Sims' mother lives at Lyons Place.
We think this is a real moment of truth for this provincial government. It's a fairly basic decision. Is this government going to be standing up for the suits and developers, or are they going to be standing up for seniors and nonprofit housing sector?
Families Minister Rochelle Squire says the province will ensure affordable housing. Advocates are calling on Winnipeg City Hall to improve Transit Plus. Riders say they're waiting on hold more than 2 hours to book a ride. The city says its call center is short-staffed. One person told CBC he tries to minimize the number of calls he makes to Transit Plus. He books multiple trips at a time.
Which means my whole week has to be planned a week ahead, and it takes away a great deal of the flexibility. So not only has wintertime brought the fact that I can't jump in my power chair and troop off to the mall or whatever, I have to plan my entire life 7 days in advance.
The city says it's looking for a contractor to launch an app next fall for online booking and service on request. A high wind effect warning has been issued for Lake Manitoba and Lake Winnipeg. Northwest gusts tonight and tomorrow could reach 75 kilometers an hour. Wave action could raise water levels 5 feet or more, and that could cause ice pileup along the south basin of Lake Manitoba and on Lake Winnipeg near Gimli and around Victoria Beach. Property owners are asked to take precautions. Well, here's a live look at downtown Winnipeg. It's getting a bit icy out there. We're in for a windy night here as well, and more snow. CBC weather specialist Marjorie Dowhouse has her 7-day forecast when we're back in just 60 seconds.
This weather update is brought to you by Capital Ford Lincoln. 22 model clear-out is on now.
Well, we are looking at some light snow tonight here in Winnipeg, and because it's windy, blowing snow is a factor as well. Low of -12, but factor in that wind chill. Could feel like it's more in the -20s. Northwest wind 40 gusting to 60. That blowing snow and those strong winds continue tomorrow morning. -11 around 8 o'clock, but factor in that wind chill again. Could feel like -23. The good news is that the wind will start to diminish in the afternoon. The snow will taper off and the sky will clear out to a mix of sun and cloud. High of -11. Northwest wind you can see diminishing 20 gusting to 40. Here's a look now at Futurecast. So we had this low pressure center that was cycling over the central part of the province, and it was bringing a lot of snow. It's starting to make its way east. We've got a little bit of clearing here between Wednesday and Thursday, and then here is the next system that could bring some flurries to the central part of the province again, and we're looking at some snow here on Friday. So you'll see that here in the long range forecast. It actually begins overnight Thursday into Friday. Friday snow. And then we're looking at some cooler temperatures starting on the weekend. High of -17 Saturday and Sunday under mainly sunny skies. High of -20 on Monday as that Arctic air really starts to settle in for the start of next week.
Thanks, Marjorie. Arctic air. I don't know if I'm ready for that. That was your CBC Winnipeg Late Night News. Thanks for being with us tonight. We'll see you tomorrow at 6 and 11. Have a good night.